Hello and welcome to the Mummy Movement podcast with me, Sam Sardette. We have had a great first season and today is the season finale. So it was only right that I brought on the original Mummy Motivator, you could say.
Ooh,
It's my own mother. Hello, my own mummy, Wendy, but we'll call you Mum. We'll call you Mum.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Well, first and foremost, we've got 45 minutes, so, let's not blab on like
we normally do.
Like we normally do.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Slash you do.
Right. Yeah, okay. It's all important stuff that I have to tell you, Sam, though.
Yes.
I have to pass on my knowledge, you know that.
Anyway, go on, during this whole podcast, you'll probably think, oh my God, that is where she gets it from. Or, yeah. So we're going to go back.
Responsibility for any of that. Sorry.
Right.
Carry on.
We're going to start from the beginning, Mother Dearest. So, well, it's a mummy podcast. So I've had guests come on this, over the last few weeks talking about being a mum and everything else. You're getting on a bit now. Mother life was different back then.
If I look like this, it's because of you and your sisters. If I look worn out.
Mum, if I look like you when I'm your age, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
It's all
and
good.
we'll keep that age.
And I am
yeah.
yeah. I mean, 20,
no, actually, what?
28.
Yeah.
I am turning into you as well, so yeah. I do feel like that.
Yeah.
But I'm
do
here
you think that's what happens if you've had a good mum? Like you do adopt the good stuff that they used to tell you, or you've just had it brainwashed into you over the years and you just start repeating it when you have your own children.
I don't know whether it's all the good stuff, but yeah. Anyway, you're here on my podcast.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm asking you questions.
All right, I know.
Right.
I know.
So,
all right.
Let's rewind.
Yeah.
34 years ago. Does that make you feel old that I'm 34?
I forget that though, because you still, I mean, I'm feeling a bit old because it's a big birthday coming up that involves a 6 this year.
Oh, yes.
So, and a 0.
Which is amazing.
Which I wasn't going to mention, but now I've done it.
Oh, you should be proud. You should be proud of the fact that you're turning 60 this year.
But even though you're 34, it's still say if I'm watching football and there's a manager in the Premier League at the moment for Ipswich and he's in his, no, not for Ipswich, anyway, the viewers will know.
No, they won't know because we don't watch football.
But he's in his 30s and you think, crikey, that's so young. And I still look at you and your sisters as little, young children. Yeah. But you're not, you're adults, you're proper, responsible adults.
In quotation marks. Yeah. But so you had, just to give a bit of, obviously, what's the word I'm looking for? Context of your, while you're on, you got me, who's the eldest. Then you've got Holly, my sister, who you had, there's only 2 years different. And then there's a 1 year difference and you had Josie. So you had us so close in age.
Yeah.
And how old?
All out of the way.
Yeah, but how old were you when you had me?
24.
24.
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah. So I would have, I was 24. No, I was 25. Blimey. Yeah. God, I used to be good at maths.
Oh, yeah, 25.
Yeah.
And then later on, you had Belle, my other sister. Yeah. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah. Going back to the set of 3 that you had so close together.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's I feel like nowadays it's so 25, to have a kid at 25 now is so young. Do you think it was quite normal then?
Oh, 100%. It was almost to wait until your 30s, like a lot of you guys do now. Whether it was brainwashing or whether it's just the way life has evolved and you can be older and healthier for longer, but it was all down to fertility and things like that. So there was a suggestion if you wait until your 30s, you'd be less fertile, so it would be harder to conceive. Also, you'd have less energy, so have them while you're young.
Right.
But I think the less energy thing doesn't apply so much nowadays because people are older and fitter.
And I mean,
maybe it would,
it's still they do say about fertility, but I think you're right in what you said, the medical world is different now, isn't it?
Yeah.
People are technically living is it longer? Is that right? Are people living longer?
Yeah, well, we're a lot healthier. Well, until yesterday, you would have thought we are a lot healthier. There's a big issue now, isn't there? They're saying a percentage of the adult population are going to be obese in so many years' time. I'm trying to avoid the news at the moment because I find it very depressing, but actually I caught it a bit yesterday.
No,
it is, yeah.
I'm
happier being oblivious sometimes.
Yeah, I said that to you before, didn't I? I'm like, I prefer being ignorantly bliss, which is not good.
No.
But then I don't have the mental capacity. I'm already looking after your 2 grandkids.
Yeah.
Right, this is why
and your husband,
This is why I said we've got 45 minutes and we're going to go off track, and this is what happens.
Politics.
Yeah, we're not going football, politics, we're doing mum life. Okay. So, you had 3. You had 3 of us. Quickly became, well, first of all, was I planned?
Yeah, definitely.
Right,
so it wasn't planned to get married to your dad when we got married, because obviously we ran off to Las Vegas and just got married, even though we weren't even together.
We might have to do another podcast for all these stories. Was like,
sorry. But literally, once we were married, I think it was in my head, I just want to have children. So maybe I just used your dad even, because I just wanted the children.
True.
Looking back, I don't know.
He gave you 3 kids and then you were on your own.
I'm done with you now. Thank you for your services. You may go. But no, we got married and then I fell pregnant quite quickly. And then, so we were married in the February and then you came along in the December.
Oh yeah, because you didn't wait around, did you?
No. And it was nice.
Did you find you fell pregnant easily then? You must have done. You literally
didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. Didn't even think, oh, this is easy, or should we? Didn't think, oh, when are the most fertile times, or anything like that.
Wasn't like that then, was it?
Yeah, well, people did. You did sort of know your cycle, so you knew when you were more fertile and less fertile, and. I think obviously we didn't have phones that had apps that gave us that information.
Yeah. You just had to.
But I didn't give it too much thought. I just thought, what do you need to have a baby? You need to.
Was there contraception then days?
Of course.
No, but like a pill.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was around then.
Yeah. Stop that. Yeah. I think maybe there was less choice of contraception.
Right.
So yeah. But there was still effective contraception.
Right, okay.
Yeah, the pill came around in the 60s. So
blimey.
That sort of gave a bit of girl power.
Yeah, even though it's 9 times out of 10, it's terrible for your body. Because I've been off it now, haven't I? I've been on natural cycles for 2 years and I feel like...
Be careful, that's what Nanny used to do. And she ended up with 8 children.
Oh my God, well we'll definitely get to that.
That's the... Are you using the... Oh, anyway.
No, because no, mother, and that's... Oh God.
So do you use the temperature? Do temperature?
No, I just know when I'm ovulating.
But is that because you're using an app?
No.
Oh.
I just know my body.
Yeah.
I know. I get cramps around, and it's always around 14 days before you're due on.
Yeah.
I just know.
Yeah.
And plus, I just don't let Oma touch me. Yeah. That's the best thing. Just stay away.
Because it comes with PMT, which is
no, as in
you want to kill the
just
world.
Don't come near me throughout the whole month.
Oh right. Unless I need you.
No, you can deal with that on your own. Anyway,
that's too much information. Yeah.
So you had the 3 girls,
yeah.
And then obviously.
So after you, Holly, I just wanted to get you all out of the way really quickly, and it sort of worked out like that.
But I'm sorry, I've got 2 girls, and the way you talk about it, it's like how was that so easy? Like the way you talk about it is like the thought of having a 3rd would send me over the edge. Yeah. Like, how did you cope? Or do you even remember?
Okay.
Is it like a distant memory that you've blanked out?
I've got water on the brain now from all the wine that saw me through.
Yes. Sounds about right.
Do you know what it is, right? I've thought about that, and I grew up, I was the oldest of 8 children, right? And I watched my mum just deal with that. She just brought up 8
Still
children.
Can't believe
as
little Nanny.
Yeah. But I was the oldest, so there was a lot of... I didn't take any responsibility away from Mum. Mum did Mum's job. She fed us, she clothed us, she kept us safe. Dad went out and earned the money that kept the roof over our head and gave us gifts, birthday and Christmas. But I helped Mum a lot. Like there was me and my sister and then 6 boys. And when Mum was off having like the younger ones, like Greg, so there's like, Greg was born in 81, I was born in 65, so there's like a 16-year difference between us.
Yeah.
When she was off having him, I was a teenager, so I was at home looking after the others while she's having the other boy, you know, she's having the baby. So
I
got drawn into that. So by the time you guys come along,
right.
I felt like I'd already trained, I'd already done it.
Okay,
you know,
right,
that's
all, what, right, okay.
It was in there from an early age. Like,
okay, so it's like, right, I get you.
That, you know, that my
I thought you were going to say, oh yeah, we kind of all just looked out for each other, but we were so close in age. I was a baby when the girls were born.
No, but to be fair though, there is that element of the more you have, the easier in some respects that it gets, because you girls did sort of bundle along together as you grew older.
Must have been 3 under 4.
So Josie came along she was born in 94.
Yeah,
so
and I was 3. So you had 3 under 3, Mum.
Yeah. Remember as well, there was other things going on that almost like within our lives that almost gave me a pinpoint focus of determination that, you know, I can do this, you know. Yeah. But you know as well, from an early age, I did fitness, like what you're doing now.
I was going to say that to you.
And I think that helped in terms of energy and strength and mentally, you know, keeping that going when you were little. Yeah. And also dumping you on Nanny nearly every day. I was going to say that. Sorry, Mum, I know you've had 8 children, but here's another 3 now.
Well,
you know
this is it. So obviously, just so that, you know, so you had us, and then you and Dad separated when Josie, so my youngest sister, was a baby. Was that right? Or just before? Then. Yeah,
before she graced us with her presence.
Oh God, yeah. And I suppose, like, I obviously have memories of Dad. Yeah. So I understand it, but like, I do remember him, you know, I do remember the weekends with him as well still. And like, he was like a still present dad. But then in the week, like, so like, how did you find it? Like, you had from birth, basically 3 under 3 on your own. How did you juggle that work? Was it quite vital that Nanny helped, basically?
It's all about your support system then and using it. And Nanny was key in that support system. And also, I still had brothers at home. So when you guys, when you 3
that is true,
went to Nanny's house while I went and taught fitness classes or whatever I was doing, you had your uncles there who abused you. Yeah.
Who used to... I mean that...
I'm using that word loosely, and I apologise. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but they really gave you a tough time.
Yeah. My childhood of going to Nanny's in the week, so it was mainly evenings, wasn't it? So you were... So you were a fitness instructor, which is where I would always say, I would never do that. That's boring. And now look at me now.
The last one I've
turned into you. But
you're so lucky, Sam.
No. People probably watch us and think we look the same as well. Like, honestly,
I need to put my glasses on.
Yeah. When I do have a memory though of like being at Nanny's at each. So, but it meant that you could still do the drop off and pick up
when they used to strap the soft toys to the fireworks.
Oh yeah, great childhood. I used to get cable tied. I used to get tied up with cable ties and just.
If that happened now,
I know.
Seriously, you could go to your uncles now and say, look, I'm not being...
But it was great.
But some people might be watching this thinking, oh,
I know, but we found it hilarious. They used to tie us and we'd be like, it was just...
Holly would be out doing the cars and the motorbikes, sitting on the motorbikes. It was just like...
But
I think that all helped. That really helped me.
Yeah.
But
I think what that... now means is like when I say to you, right, are you having can you have the girls on this day? Because given I've now created a career around being also a full-time mum, I've always had the girls, haven't I? And I remember when I first all right, so like, obviously you know me. Before I had the girls, I always worked. I had my own business. I was always a hard worker.
Very much
I was
like
always
your
a
dad
grafter.
in that respect, I have to say.
Yeah.
I would have the ideas, but he would do it.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I never thought I would be a full-time mum, ever. No. And I remember when
But don't say it because you're thinking of it as a...
Exactly.
But it's not that.
Well,
it's
now.
Not.
Well, yeah.
God, I wish everybody could be a full-time mum. I wish I could have been a full-time mum.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But this is why I bring it up, because
mum makes it sound like it's such a soft job.
When
full-time raiser of children, a full-time... what is it? You're nurturing the future generation is such an important job that we get it right.
Yeah,
it's so important, because when you see it going wrong, there are consequences. For those people.
Well, that's why there's so much pressure on us. But what I do remember, the reason I'm bringing that up is because, like I said, I was like, no, it's fine. But people get used to it. I remember having Sienna. Yeah. And then luckily I was in a position where Omar was earning enough money where I could just, I didn't have to go back to work. Although at the time I was like, I want to get back. But then I remember saying to you, Mum, no, you used to work and have us and this, that, and the other. And I remember you sitting me down and I was like, I don't want to be a full-time mum. Like, I'm just going to be bored. It's boring. I don't want to. And you were like, Sam, like, that is the most important, one of the most important jobs. Again, you're never going to get this back. If you've got the opportunity to get it, do it. And obviously I quickly realised it was the hardest job in the world. It was harder than any job I've ever done. But also equally the most rewarding. And
that's your payment.
Yeah.
It's not an unpaid job. You do get payment, but it's not like readies.
And obviously it's different. It's like people, I contribute to, do you know what it was? It was the whole fact of I'm not contributing financially, which I used to do. I used to earn good money, and I used to be a grafter, and I used to, have a business.
You think that you have a responsibility to continue to do that as well, rather than draw from another person.
Which I still struggle with, and it's probably why I took it upon myself to start my Instagram, to start my Mummy Movement. All this stuff, even this, I don't have to be doing any of this, but I do it because now I can do it and still be a present mum and be around the kids. But where I'm going with this is,
no, it's all right.
When I do have the odd day where I'm like, Mum, I need you to have the girls, and then you sit there and go, oh God, I know you joke most of the time. I say, well, it's payback now. It's payback time. The amount of days, but we used to love it at Nanny's. We used to love it, and it was the evenings, and we had each other, and equally the girls love coming to you. Yeah, you love going to Nanny's.
As people will know who have been a mum and then become a nanny or a grandmother, it is completely different. There's almost like, in a way, it makes me reflect on when I was a mum, and I think I wish I'd had more time to spend with you girls. Like now I will sit with Sienna and Sorella on the couch and we watch Bluey. Oh my God, I love that programme. I mean, anybody who's not watched Bluey, you have to watch it. I hope, I'm not looking for free products or anything like that. I'm just saying there's levels to that programme. It's so funny. I love it. But we sit and they're snuggled up with me. And I was never, because I wasn't brought up by affectionate parents. Like, it was very at arm's length.
I know. Yeah.
Excuse me. And also there was a lot of us. So Mum was stretched very thin and Dad was out working. Yeah. Quite traditional for those days. And I'm not criticising it in any way at all. I'm really happy about the way I was brought up. And I look at my family now, and we are a happy, successful family. Quite balanced. I think we've got nice manners. We work hard. All the rest of it.
Yeah, all the uncles are doing
the important
really well
human things. But like I look when I was with you girls, and it was very much I had to keep going. I had to do things because I was on my own. Give you to Nan. So we didn't have those times where we snuggled or we cuddled or we kissed, because one, I'm not naturally like that. But with your two, I can be like that, and for some reason I can just be like that.
Yeah.
But I won't necessarily, weirdly, I'll give you a kiss and a cuddle, and you still go to me, come here, Mum.
Yeah.
Let it out. Come on.
I force you to hug
she's
me.
Cuddling me. But with Sienna and Sorella, because they don't know me, it's almost like I can be new.
But
I can
also,
be a new version
it's
of
like
myself as Nanny.
You're their safe space when they're with you. And it's like, I think you're definitely softer with the girls.
I am, and I'm not. There's still things like I want to hear them say please and thank you.
Of course.
I want to see, you have a certain responsibility still, because as much as you are responsible for making them into good young people, so is everybody else involved, like their teachers, everybody who has an input into a child's life is responsible for making sure that they
100%.
Are good people.
And I think it's important that you're aligned. And I think
that's
where I'm really lucky, because I feel like with me, I'm raising the girls with, a lot of similar morals that we have, and, making sure they've got good manners.
We could disagree. We could.
Yeah. But then also adding that soft side, which, is like, I smother them with cuddles, and I'm
more than I was. And I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad, because that wasn't modelled to you.
Yeah, but I think
sometimes it maybe that's just a nature.
No, I've had to nurture that into myself. Naturally, I'm not like that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm naturally a cold bitch.
Mind you, Omer, your husband, is very cuddly, and so, which is nice.
And I think over the years, I've like at school, I had friends that would used to come and hug me, and I'd be like, get away from me. But then it softened me gradually, and I think the whole, like, even things like in Essex, you call everyone baby, you kiss on the cheek, and it's all this.
Well, that's the thing.
And I think
had that when I was growing up, like all this kissing and cuddling thing.
Well, I think it's also a British thing, isn't it? We're quite
traditionally,
and
we're more multicultural now, so people come and they kiss on both cheeks.
Yes,
that's been an evolution over the last 30 years. Whereas when I was your age and younger, we just pleased to meet you, and there wasn't, and your friends, you never hugged or greeted and kissed anybody apart from your mum and dad and maybe your siblings. So I can't blame it all on my mum and dad, my coldness.
It is a British
things were.
I feel like it is quite
but
British.
That culture has changed, which is nice. It's nice.
But I'm lucky with with Omer's mum as well.
Yes.
Which does really help. And I feel like and she's a bit more cuddly, she's very
warm.
But then equally, you and her are quite similar too, and we're all quite similar. She's quite, she can be a bit more like to the point and say things, and it's like I feel like that makes a real difference. So I feel like you had. It makes sense, obviously you had the support nan, which I suppose, you had 3 under 3, but having that support unit makes a difference.
But also, you have I don't know about other people that have been a parent on their own, because it's not just single mums, it could be a single dad that has to raise children, but I know we're all about mums here. But it becomes a motivation, you talk about you're the mummy motivator, and if you've got 3 young children that it's just all on you. Okay, luckily I had the background behind me, I had the safety net, but it just it gives you a purpose. It just really brings things into sharp focus and drives you forward. So everything you do, and especially when your dad decided to bugger off and go on to bigger and greater things. You all, at that point I thought, right, I'm the mum and the dad now. So the fitness was perfect, because I could be that strong person. I can do anything around the house. I learned that from my dad when I was little. And then I was the mum then. Okay, so I would say I probably was more dad than mum, because I wasn't the cuddly, snuggly mum. I was the one that was out earning the dosh.
Do you know what? I do feel like mum...
It gives you a purpose. So.
I do think, though, 9 times out of 10, and I'm not generalising, but like I do feel like, well, they say it, don't they? They say the mum has to be a bit more like the mum, dad, like the nurse, the teacher, this, that, and the other, and then the dad comes home and he's like the one-dimensional, the fun guy. Yeah,
that's a bit. I mean, that's a bit unfair on dads, but I think there is still
No,
that
but I'll give it.
perception.
I give.
Mums still feel they have to be a jack of all trades. I
Yeah.
think, and sometimes it might be good for mums to just realise that you actually don't have to. If you've got your partner, be that female or male, if you have a partner who's helping you to raise your children, you have to
Let them
relax, yeah,
No.
and not try and be a super mum. And it feels like there was a time where every mum,
it's still going.
It's like
Mum.
have the kids and you get back to work and get your figure back, and it's like,
Mum, that is Mum, that is rife.
Relax.
That's still
it's
rife.
Such a shame though, because that means you take your eye off the ball.
Yeah.
You take your eye off the most important thing, which is the children.
I know, but do you know what?
Oh, sorry, there's a danger of that.
I openly say it, like, I even put it on my Instagram like a couple of weeks ago. I made a video of like, right, mum leaving the house, and I was like,
yes,
right,
I saw that.
I've done this, I've done that, I've done that, I've put out this, because I do that.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas if Omar wants to leave, he'll just go.
And that's still was the same when I was young. It's interesting.
But then it's like, and so many mums relate to this, but then obviously you get the odd Karens, which, make their comments, but equally, I half agree with some of them, with what some of them said. It's like, just let him. Why don't you just go? Why do you're babying him? And it's true. And I wish, but the thing is, I wish I could, but there's different aspects of that. I wish I could. Number one, I equally probably am a bit of a control freak.
Well, yeah.
But number two,
that's a mum thing.
When I go out, I don't want to be disturbed. I don't want him calling me. So,
and you don't want to worry.
He will equally learn, but I haven't got the time or patience to wait for that time for him to learn.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand that. And I think, I do think as well, there is an element of if you just invest a bit of time, sometimes with things like that, you've got to invest the time to let them just either step up to the mark or let you down, take the risk. And then 9 times out of 10, they will just step up. And you build it over time, but it needs a bit of time and effort to begin with, like any encouraging a new behaviour, teaching something. It's like with you girls, or like with your sister, your younger sister, Belle, who still lives at home. Yeah. She loses things all the time. And I can find them for her. So what you're saying is treat your man like a child. Yeah. Well, you have to. Yeah. No, not necessarily. Well, I have to with Omar. But yeah, well, that's it. All men are different. Your man. Yeah. You know your man, or you know your partner. You know what their strengths and weaknesses are. And if it is that you're going out for a night to relax, and it gives you peace of mind by telling them the ins and outs of a dog's bottom, how to do everything, and how everything works, then do that if it gives you that peace for the night. Otherwise, if you just walk and leave, like you just said, you're going to be worrying, and that's not a peaceful, relaxing night. It defeats the object. So going back to Belle, there's 13 years between us. She's yours and my ex-stepdad's daughter. You had her at 38. Yeah. And it's funny because at the time, because she used to say as well, like, oh, mum's so old compared to all my other friends' mums, this, that, and the other. I mean, obviously, you've never been like an old mum at all. But now it's more common for people to have kids at that age. So, like, for example, my school mums, given they're probably around the same age as me, but like, equally, some of them are in their 40s, which means that they had them in their late 30s. But you don't blink an eye at that. But did you find back then it was a bit different compared to, obviously, we were a bit older, having kids at 24, 25, 26, whatever, and then going on having another one at 38. Did you find there was a difference? Or? The only time I was very conscious of it was when I was actually pregnant. And in my head, I thought I looked older. I mean, obviously, I look old. You know, my skin has seen a lot of sun, and it's seen a lot of adventure. And your face tells that story, so be it. But I always was a bit conscious that maybe I look too old, because maybe at that time there was still, people were having children in their 20s. Yeah. And here I was, this looking nearer to 40 mum that was pregnant. So I was probably more conscious of it then while I was actually carrying the baby. Once she was born, in my head, I just thought, if anybody thinks I'm too old, they just can think that I'm a glamorous grandmother. Like, rather than the mum.
I do remember, because, so obviously Belle's dad, also you and Belle's dad met, you had 3 daughters and he had 4 sons.
Yes, yeah.
Which, given, I mean, at the time, I was 13 when she came along, but even before that, you know, we grew up with them for a bit, and you know, it was so much fun, and so I must have been.
She wasn't intended, by the way; it was an immaculate conception.
Well, I was going to say,
don't believe,
you know, for the sake of my sister, I think she knows that she probably was, but you know, beautiful, like the best thing ever.
I feel like I did it better with her, but then she's like an only child.
Yeah, you only had her to focus on. But I remember when her and her brother...
And she had her dad as well. So
yes. I remember when me and one of her brothers, we must have been like 16 or something, and she must have been like 2 or 3. Yeah. And the amount of times we'd be out and they'd think she was our kid. We're like holding her hand.
Yeah.
But it's funny how it works though, isn't it? Because... out of all my sisters, I'm actually closest with her, and me and her are probably the most similar.
Yeah, so you could maybe say that's because you've got, both of you are probably most similar to, I don't know. The common factor is me, obviously.
I think so.
But then sometimes there is a dynamic between the oldest and the youngest that brings you together.
Yeah.
Like, so, and you, from an early age, you were off. Doing your own things, being a role model for her, setting an example with what you did, and you went home when you was 18. Yeah, I couldn't get rid of you quick enough. Needed your bedroom. And you were off, and she witnessed all that. So I think there's an element of, you know, looking up to you, and you did it successfully. Yeah. What you did, there was a bit of adventure and a bit of risk and a bit of you know, like naughtiness along the way and whatever, but nothing terrible. And she observed that, and I think that's why she looks to you now that she's going to be 21 this year.
I know.
And you're obviously in the 30s. You're successful in the things that you've achieved. So you're her go-to. Yeah. Because you were the oldest sister, and also you set a good example, you know.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I do always feel like...
Your other sisters did as well, Holly and Josie, before in case you two get...
No, of course they're different.
Ways.
It's in different ways. Yeah. I think where me and Belle are similar in the way that she's very go out and get it, and I feel like
she's a bit entrepreneurial as well.
So I'm there to be like, right, if you want to do that, this is what you can do. This is how you can do it.
That doesn't come from me. That's coming from you.
Yeah. So anyway, back to mum life.
Sorry.
We'll start wrapping it up soon, otherwise we'll be here all day. But so mum life back then. Do you think as well, like the whole social media stuff?
I'm glad you said about that. I think it was easier then because that wasn't there.
Yeah.
I'm not, at the risk of sounding like an older person who's very anti-social media, I'm not going to express an opinion on that. I just would say that we didn't have that additional draw on our child's attention, that additional potentially unpoliced input into our child's upbringing. Yeah. That additional just things that they could see and learn about that we didn't have any of that. So it was, the only way I can think of it is as a danger. That's
but it's hard because nowadays
it also is a positive. I know that.
But you have to. You have no choice as a mum to adapt.
100%.
Like, so, for example,
you have to accept it.
Like, it's here.
So how do you work with it to make it work well?
And it to be a positive thing. Though. So, like, you know, if the girls weren't allowed to watch YouTube Kids or whatever, and all their mates, but like it just wouldn't ever happen. Basically, it would have to be a thing. We monitor it. We have the controls in place, and we are good. Like they do a lot of drawing and stuff like that. Yeah. And then equally, I wouldn't be able to have a career around my kids without the option of social media.
Industry.
Yeah,
but
I do think like the phone thing more than anything, like that distraction of texting and all that. And I feel like you didn't have that when we were little.
You see, and that's the one thing that just makes me a little bit sad sometimes for children today. I understand, like, it's here. We embrace it. We make it work. But I do think sometimes, you know, like when you see mums walking along, pushing a pushchair.
I know.
With the phone. I know sometimes it has to be, you have to juggle things, and you're juggling life, and that means a phone call. You have to make that phone call. But I do think sometimes, and mum's walking along on the phone, like just, you know, holding the kid's hand. I do sometimes wish just like, especially when a child comes out of school, they're just full of so much information they want to tell you about school. So it might be just maybe don't have your phone with you when you collect them from school, or just keep it zipped in the pocket. And just talk to your child. When you're walking with them, like talk, communicate, look at the world. It is beautiful, especially now, like the sun's starting to come out. There's like new life. You can teach them about nature.
I do think I've got that from you.
I think we miss that trick sometimes with mums being distracted by what's happening here. Sorry, mums, parents. Adults.
But I am with you on that 1,000,000%. And I do try, and I think that's why now I will use, if I get any child free time to get any bits I need to get done work-wise from my phone, but otherwise, and I always am having to go at Omar, like, get off your phone, get off your phone. Like, I hate it. I actually hate it, because I'm like, I'm with you on that one in if you don't need to be on your phone. I know some people want the outlet, but unless you need to, just be present, a bit more present.
So interesting. Like the stuff
I know, like,
you know, the beautiful things that they say, or just their observations on life. It's way more interesting that what might be happening or what you might be missing out on there.
And I do actually think, because I do that with the girls. So every time they come out, we have a chat. What did you do?
You do a lot of do-dos, by the way.
I do.
Yeah, just watch out for that. I have that problem with Nanny. It's a nightmare. Anyway, carry on.
But I feel like it
when you
might
make
be.
That
I don't know. I'm not going to make generalisation, because it just might be genetically in them. But I feel like maybe that's why they are quite confident kids, because I sit and we have questions and we chat and we talk, and I give them a voice, and it's not always 1 minute,
and you listen,
and we chat, and the girls, bless them, they're always, I think you always look at your mum is your mum at the end of the day. Like, I remember you always saying, I used to work so much and this, that and the other, but
I did worry,
you were always my mum. Doesn't matter, even the worst, you know, in quotation marks, the worst mums out there, they're still your mum.
So it's unconditional.
It's unconditional, but equally, when you've got your 6-year-old, I mean, it probably definitely will change, telling you that you're her best, both of them telling you you're her best, your best friend. And she tells me everything. She tells me absolutely. I want to keep that, exactly.
That channel open. Because very quickly that can close if they come to you and you're not open for business. That happens a few times. They start to close down. And also how you react to them telling you everything. You've got to react with an open mind and openness, not like shut them down in terms of be quiet, or shut them down in terms of, no, you don't do that. I do think you have to have certain things where if you hear them say something, they tell you something that they've done, you say, no, you don't do that, and this is why. And sometimes you don't have to explain everything. They just need to understand that you don't do that. Because you don't always have time to explain everything.
Because also
you have to be boundaries. It makes them feel secure.
Well, you have to teach them life lessons,
100%,
like
good life lessons.
In a good way.
100%.
So obviously you had 4 girls. I've got
Lord.
2 girls.
Yeah, we don't want any boys.
Holly's got another.
No smelly boys.
But equally you are footy mad.
West Ham, but
then you are also, I suppose, you and my sister, and Belle.
Take Cece over West Ham.
Well, we've taken them over a couple of friendly games, haven't we? But I suppose it doesn't really matter if I don't actually need to give you a boy, really, because you've got Cece. Who, or the girls that will be into it, and they know all the chants. They know all the chants.
What about Bowen?
Yeah, about Bowen on fire. Oh God,
sorry, his girlfriend.
So, being obviously, you know, we've chatted about the differences with you being a bit softer as a nan, you being a mum. You know how the differences with now versus then. If you could, I suppose you've given a bit of advice there, but if you could give me, any mums in this generation now, any advice while our kids are young, or even in teens, whatever, you've been through it all 4 times. Yeah. And it's like, what would be your main kind of advice for them?
100% listen.
Yeah.
Just listen to what, if your little one or big one, if they want to talk to you, listen, like, and respond to what they say. And I'm terrible because we talk and I interrupt you, but try not to interrupt. Let them talk.
Do you feel like you've learnt that now? You've grown up and mellowed a bit.
I've learnt that partly from being. See, I interrupted you there, but part of that came from being a teacher.
True.
And
you used to be a teacher.
The one thing that comes through from kids in secondary school, especially, because obviously as a teacher, you listen to children that have
She didn't
difficulties.
learn it from we were
not
kids.
From being a mum.
Didn't listen to us, but listen to the kids at school.
Couldn't get away from them quick enough. I was probably this is the thing though. I probably gave more time because obviously I was a teacher when you guys were little.
Yeah.
And I look back on that and I probably gave more time to some of my students who were having a difficult time.
No.
And spent time in school doing that. Sometimes I wonder about, it was all a bit warped, you know. I almost relaxed when I came home. It was like, oh, thank God, don't have to listen anymore.
Yeah.
Like, get your clothes on, get upstairs, get your PJs on. All right, I'll sit and watch your show. Yeah, you've done your little show for me. Lovely. I'll watch that.
Yeah. We always used to do a show for you.
And then we go and brush your teeth. Yeah, Sam, help your sisters. Like, I'm just making a cup of tea.
Yeah. glug. But no, I don't think.
But I do think just listening, like engage with them and put that phone away if you can.
Yeah.
I know a lot of younger people will hear me saying that and say, yeah, but you weren't brought up with the phone, so you don't really understand it.
No, but I'm brought up. No, but I'm brought up the phone. I'm a mum with my phone. I work off my phone.
Yeah.
And I need to be on my phone for certain times. But I have learnt to kind of know when's right. And also, it might mean that I'm up late and I'm having to do things when they're in bed, but I do feel like I'm never gonna get this time back.
Absolutely.
And I need to just embrace it all. And I'm not giving you a third grandchild because I can't do what you did. I'm not going through.
I don't want you to. If they're anything like the first two.
Yeah.
Please. Flipping nutters. We don't want to pass that gene on anymore.
No,
right?
I'm not taking. It's not my gene. It's Oma's gene.
Yeah,
it's not our gene.
On your dad's. Like,
yeah.
You can't defend themselves.
On that note,
yes.
I feel like I need to get you on again just to talk about so many other life stories that we've been through.
Couldn't we? Yeah.
But I think it is interesting to know sort of like how things were when we were little and, you know, the differences between our mum. I think a lot of, you know, mums my age have a similar dynamic.
Probably, yeah.
And it is that.
And their mums might have
and it is about adapting, and it is about taking, like, I've taken a lot of stuff how you raised us and it works for me, but then adapted it in my own style. And it's like,
you have to,
And I mean,
because not everything your mum did works.
Yeah, so or worked for me. It doesn't work for me as a person.
Yeah.
It worked for you, but it didn't work for me. And I think that's so important, isn't it? It's like people can say to you, do this, do that, or your mum can say, do that. Your mum-in-law can tell you to do this. And you say, okay. But at the end of the day, you've got to stay stern with what works for you and figure it out. It's taken me 6 years and I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah. But trust the wisdom of your mum and your dad, your parents.
Yeah, of course.
Or older people. They might be a bit old-fashioned, but there is a bit of wisdom in there somewhere.
Of course.
So
I said to you before, didn't I? I'd say, oh, yeah, all right, Mum, I've done that already. I've tried that already.
Yeah.
Like to you, and then I go home and I think, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. I'll do that.
But I'm not telling Mum that.
No, she doesn't need to know.
I'm not giving her that credit.
But thanks for coming on. Have you had fun?
It's been a pleasure. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
You're natural, Mum. I knew you would.
It's nice chatting. It is nice chatting.
Yeah.
I thought it would be difficult, and I actually thought I wouldn't be able to last. I thought I'd be done after 20 minutes because my attention span, or I might fall asleep.
Or you might have ADHD now. Yeah. Well, let's not talk about that.
Well, come through the menopause, I think I have got ADD, but who hasn't got ADD these days?
ADHD.
Well, it can be ADD as well.
Oh, God, let's not get into that. Right. Love you.
Love you too. Thanks
for
asking me
thanks
to come
for being
on.
a good mum.
I'm honoured,
Thanks for being a good nan.
I always do my best.
A good mum and even better nan. No, you are. You're amazing. And yeah, and I'll get you on. Hopefully, get you on.
Proud
another
of
time.
you, Sam. By the way,
Thank
love
you.
you loads. Proud
Love
of what
you.
you're doing here. It's really, really good.
Thank
and your
you.
dad is too. I'm sure.
Thanks. Oh God.
Yeah.
All right.
Here
Okay.
we
Let's
go.
stop there. Stop there. Thanks for coming on. Love you.